Welcome to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast, where we aim to help fellow veterinary rehab therapists increase their knowledge and elevate their practice. I'm Megan Kelly.
And I'm Anae Lloyd. Together, we bring you the latest insights, research, and information in the field of veterinary rehabilitation.
This podcast is brought to you by Onlinepethealth, a leading continuing education membership for veterinary rehabilitation therapists. With Onlinepethealth, you'll have access to a wide range of online resources to help you stay up to date with the latest techniques, advances, and trends in the industry.
Our podcast features in-depth conversations with leading experts in veterinary rehabilitation. They share their own experiences and knowledge to help you improve your practice. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the field, our goal is to provide you with the tools and the insights you need to succeed.
So join us as we explore the exciting world of veterinary rehabilitation and help you take your practice to the next level. Hey vet rehabbers, today on the podcast we're diving into the world of vet rehab software with Laura Clinton. She is the founder of Equicantis, which is a business management and exercise video software. Laura shares insights into the latest updates and upcoming improvements of Equicantis, and as someone who is still practicing, Laura really understands the daily challenges that us vet rehabbers face. And the Equicantis updates include many business management systems to help us to save time and streamline processes such as client onboarding and vet consent. In other news, tickets for our annual online vet rehab conference, the Vet Rehab Summit, are now available. You can go to www.vetrehabsummit.com. Now this year, our theme is ethical dilemmas for vet rehab therapists, and online Pethealth members, you get free VIP access to the summit. A special thank you to Joe from @ZenCanine for the podcast shoutouts on Instagram. Joe, please email me at megan@onlinepethealth.com. I'd love to gift you your limited edition veterinary rehabilitation mug. Before we head over to my chat, a quick word from our sponsors, Curacao Vet. Curacao is owned by Nada Robinson. She first developed her courses at the Colorado State University, where she started the Medical Acupuncture for Veterinarian Certificate program, and she did this in 1998. In so doing, she developed a science-based platform for veterinary acupuncture, which is the first of its kind. Today, Curacao Vet offers a comprehensive curriculum in integrative medicine with a rational evidence-supported foundation, and they have courses such as medical acupuncture, photomedicine, botanical medicine, medical massage, and integrative rehabilitation. You can discover Curacao Vet at curacao.org, and you can also see them at this year's Vet Rehab Summit. So over to my chat with Laura. Hey Laura, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, how are you?
Laura, as a start, what I'd love you to do is just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and how you started a software company as a vet rehabber.
Okay. My background is as an equine musculoskeletal therapist. So I've been treating horses for about 13, 14 years now. And then actually my history before that was I started out my working life as a journalist. So I was a journalist for a while for local newspapers and worked in PR, and then just decided that actually my passion had always been with horses. So I retrained in my sort of early mid-20s to become an equine musculoskeletal therapist. And then it was kind of from my experience as a therapist and my own frustrations originally with writing exercise plans that I just decided that there must be a better way to do that. So I was having a look around on the market to see what was already out there, and I'm very handily married to a software developer, so we put our heads together and it decided to solve the problem.
Yeah, awesome. And so when was that? So how many years ago was that when you actually launched the first, because we are on version 2 now, 2.0.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, but when did you launch? So the software guys is called Equicantis.
Yeah.
When did you launch 1.0?
So the first version of Equicantis went to market the end of August 2021, and that was purely as an equine and canine exercise prescription app. So that was a web application. That was our kind of first immediate problem that I wanted to solve, was a better way to do equine and canine exercise prescription.
So before you had Equicantis, I mean, it's always very handy to have a husband who can solve your problems like that. How did you used to send exercises to clients? I mean, like, tell us sort of exactly how you did it, and, you know, was it a very time-consuming thing? Did you have to repeat things over and over again? Obviously, I know Equicantis is, everything is so easy and all in one.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I was in the position that I know a lot of other animal physical therapists have been in. I was very pen and paper based. So when I was at an appointment with a client, at the end of the appointment, and I was ready to set my exercises, it would be a case of doing the exercise, showing the client, getting the client to do the exercise, and then painstakingly handwriting out all the descriptions and the sets and reps of how to do the exercise on a piece of paper. And then you would come back to that client, however many weeks or months later, and they'd lost the piece of paper, or you would ask them to show you the exercise that they'd been doing. And you're thinking, oh, that's not really quite the exercise I showed you. Okay. And it's not the owner's fault, you know. How are they supposed to remember when they're being shown once or twice there and then at the appointments? It's a lot for them to try and take in. And I was just getting so frustrated with this process from myself having to handwrite them all out, but feeling the client's pain as well. That, yeah, I just thought, you know, there must be a better way to do this. And, you know, there were a few canine programs out there, but there was nothing really for equine. And certainly at that point when we launched, there was nothing that was combining equine and canine together. So I say, when Dave and I kind of put our heads together, it was like a real collaboration of how we could solve this problem. And then speaking to more and more therapists, so many people were experiencing the same pain point. So it was great to be able to create something that, you know, was not only solving a problem for myself, but I knew it was going to solve a big problem across the industry.
When I was in practice, I had a sheet, so I didn't have to rewrite it. I used to just print that sheet off, and then I would tick the exercises and then write the reps. But as you say, even when you describe them there, then when you see them actually doing the exercises, they're not doing them correctly.
Yeah.
And, you know, before we didn't have, years and years ago, we didn't have cell phones with cameras, so they couldn't film it. So yeah, I mean, it's so great to be able, because, you know, you can see those clients that do the exercises when they come back. You know,
yeah.
2 weeks later, the ones that have done the exercises, the improvement is just, the curve is like so much better than the ones who haven't done the exercises. For us, you know, the compliance of them doing exercises is so important, because we know that our outcomes are going to be better. So we really need to make a way in which we can get them to be able to do the exercises and be able to understand exactly how to do them.
That's it. I feel like it just, what I've noticed with it as well is it just really empowers the owner. Like, they've got something that they can keep watching how to do the exercise. It gives them confidence. And I think when that owner is confident, they are, you know, the compliance is likely to be greater, because they feel like they're making a difference rather than worrying about not doing it, or if they're doing it wrong, because they've got something that they can keep referring back to. And again, something that's professional for them to go back to, because I did have a play around myself, like away from the pen and paper, of, you know, just trying to do my own videos, and you pop them in a document or this, that, and the other. And it was so time consuming. It didn't look very good. So we've kind of done all the hard work for people now. The exercise library is there and always being added to. So therapists don't have to kind of painstakingly make their own, or have to be handwriting them out.
So obviously Equicantis started off as this exercise program now to help vet rehabbers to be able to send exercises to their clients. Now there's been the 2.0, the upgrade. What made you make the changes? And just explain to us exactly what changes have been made and what extra benefits, because I know there are lots.
Yeah, it's it's been amazing. It's been so exciting to get this done, and it's always been on the roadmap, really, that I wanted to be able to create something that had multiple different features that was going to solve different problems. But, you know, you have to start somewhere. So it was always, the starting point was always going to be exercise prescription. That felt like the bigger problem that needed solving for therapists first. So the plan was always to get the exercise prescription out as the first version, but then I always wanted to build in some kind of session report and note taking and kind of business admin system around it. It's just that everything takes time. So when that time was finally right to start working on that and then launching it, which was the end of February, it's been brilliant to finally kind of for that all to come to fruition. So basically spent a lot of time talking to current users of Equicantis, therapists that weren't using Equicantis at all yet, and really trying to dig around what people were currently doing to run their business, what problems they needed solving, how we could try and solve those, and having those conversations to try and help us map out what direction to go in and what features to do first. So a lot of it obviously comes from my own experience because I experience a lot of these problems, but it's really important that it's not just what I think, that we get a lot of input from therapists as well to know that we're kind of catering to different types of therapists. So the new features that we launched at the end of February, so it's kind of taken Equicantis from being exercise prescription to now the business and rehab system for animal physical therapists. So this now combines a huge element of business features. So in a nutshell, we have the appointment calendar and diary management. We have onboarding forms, so client onboarding forms, because a pain point that I had and that I'd seen that a lot of other therapists had was just this initial information gathering. So we've made that really streamlined and straightforward now. So you just need an email address and you can send this form, and then the client will send all their information for them and their animals to you, and it updates your system. So you don't have to manually do all that. And that then can also help trigger a vet consent form. So if you've already got the details, you've got the vet details there as well. You've got a vet consent form that you can trigger as well, which makes it super easy for the animal owner, for the therapist, and for the vet as well, because it can be a time-consuming admin job for everybody concerned. So we've just kind of streamlined and automated as much of that data input as possible. And then from there, we've got the session reports. So that's obviously when you're at your appointment. We have different data fields that you can be populating whilst you're out and about with your clients, and you can utilize, if your device is enabled with your voice to text technology, you can utilize that while you're on the go to be a real time saver. That's got our anatomical drawings in there for markup. So we've got our equine and canine, by the wonderful Anae.
Yeah, she's great, isn't she?
She's fabulous, very talented. So yeah, we've got our drawings there, which make it really lovely for the owners as well to be able to have a look at the diagrams. And then you can do things like add images onto your plan as well. So then you've got a lovely professional session report. And then you also then have the option of carrying on into your exercise plans. So it's like we've created this lovely business system designed to really speed things up, take away the pain, and incorporate it all with exercise plans. So there's nothing else on the market right now that's incorporating exercise prescription along with business features.
Awesome. So let's chat about each of those points. So the appointment making, is that for you to make the appointments, or are the clients able to book appointments themselves?
So at this point in time, it is just for the therapist to make appointments. We have already got it on our kind of tracking system that we're going to be adding in the ability that you can either choose then whether you want the clients to have the ability to book appointments or not book appointments, because obviously there's a huge difference between whether you are a mobile therapist or you are in a building in a clinic therapist. Because if you're mobile, you do not want your clients booking in their own appointments. You could be here, there, and everywhere, couldn't you? So at the moment, it's only the therapist that can book an appointment, but we're working on a feature where you, as a therapist, can select whether you're turning on or off the ability for a client to book.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, definitely the mobile, you want to like put them all in the same area on the same day. And also driving and things, you got to cater for all that.
You need control over that for sure.
Yeah. I love the whole idea of just, streamlining that whole sort of onboarding, of getting the clients to fill the form and then that'll automatically trigger the vet consent form to be emailed. And then is that all online? Because I think one of the hiccups that a lot of a lot of vet professionals have, or vet rehabbers have, is that they have like a form which is in a PDF, which they send to the vet, and then the vet has to print it out and write it out, and then scan it again and send it back.
Yeah.
I think that is a lot of the friction with regards to filling in vet consent forms.
Yeah, and we've had some great feedback from users already that have said, vet forms that can sometimes take, 2 or 3 weeks to get them returned. They're having vet consent forms returned in a matter of hours or days, because it's literally, they get emailed with a secure link that the vets can just click on, opens out an online form. A lot of it is already pre-populated with all the details of the client and the animal in there. So they just need to fill in relevant history, any other notes that they want to pop in, their details, and it's just a click of a button and it gets sent back. And then that notifies the therapist when the form has been completed and they're good to go.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me, I know that you can do your session reports, and are you able to create some type of vet report that can then be emailed to the vet, or is that still in the pipeline?
Yeah, kind of a development on that is still going to be in the pipeline. So the session report itself that you create, that session report can be sent to the owner. That can just be forwarded straight onto a vet as well. So you can send the entire report over to the vet. If you want to, we're looking next at how to create something that's a bit more of a streamlined version of that. So if you wanted to create a cut down version of that report to send to a vet, that's something that we're looking to do this year as well.
Yeah, that's going to be great, because I think that's also another area where, time-wise, we just so struggle. I know a lot of the vet rehabbers, I just don't have time. And most of them are sitting till like 10 o'clock at night, writing out their vet reports and emailing them. So it'll be great if there's just a little click of a button and it you can just edit it slightly and emails it straight to the vet, because it's got the vet's email address and name and everything recorded in there.
Yeah, exactly. That's just inputted there. So yeah, it's almost like there is so many other features that we have in the pipeline to get out. And it kind of came to the point where it's like, I had to make a cutoff point, or else we would never get it to market. If it was a case of trying to put in every idea that I had and what what the therapists have asked us for, it would be 2030 before you get anything there, because there's so much scope and potential. And it's really exciting, I think, for us, but also for the industry, is that we're not a stagnant company. Like, what we've got on the market now is very much the start of this next phase, and we're already working on the next version and the next version. It's all mapped out and in the pipeline, which is exciting.
And I think you have the added benefit that you actually know exactly how the vet rehab therapist is actually feeling and the struggles that they're having, from firsthand. So I think a lot of software companies, there's a problem somebody else has had, but they themselves, the person who's actually developing, often didn't have the problem. And so they have to do a lot of research. And it's great that you ask your users to see, other things, because obviously, like you said, we've got mobile and we've got brick and mortar. So everyone has different problems. Right now, you can't invoice right from the platform. Is that something that you're also considering at a later stage?
Yeah, we're doing a lot more research around this, because it was something that I wanted to do. However, people seem to use like invoicing really like quite flippantly in a way, because actually when you dig down into it and you talk to a lot of different therapists, what they all individually mean by invoicing is actually rather large. It wasn't as straightforward as, oh, just add invoicing, because there's a lot of different components to what people want from invoicing and what they don't want from invoicing. So the more I was digging around in this, the more I was realizing actually it's really wide open. There isn't a huge amount of consistency between what is needed and what people will expect from this. So we made the decision to take more time to figure out really what people wanted, because there's a lot of therapists out there who are already very happy with invoicing systems that they are using, and they don't actually have a need to bring invoicing into this all-in-one platform. In fact, a few people actually flagged it as a negative, and they just wouldn't use that element. So if we did pull in invoicing in some shape or form, it would have to be in a way that it wasn't fully integrated, so we weren't putting off the people who wouldn't use that element. So if it was all wrapped up in session reports and into the appointments and the calendars, rather than those elements being kind of individual, we would end up in a situation where we're creating something that is too interwoven with itself, that therapists can't then use just the elements of the platform that they wanted to. So yeah, there's a lot more kind of research needed to be done around that area for now.
So you launched this last February now,
Mm-hmm.
and tell me how the launch went. So like, what were your goals and how many people did you eventually get?
Yeah, well, the launch exceeded all my expectations. And I think there's just been a huge difference from when we first put Equicantis on the market in 2021, and, not really having a good idea of, you look back and you think, gosh, it was kind of all over the place. But, you always have to start somewhere. And I think this time, we've got a lot more experience. We had that 2.5 years more experience. Equicantis was already on the market. So we already kind of had that bit of traction, I suppose. But, I gave myself the target of, we launched it on the Monday, the 26th, I think it was, of February. And we had until the Monday to the Saturday was almost my launch period, where we had competitions and we had discount codes going on. I thought, if we get 50 more users in that time period, I'll just be delighted. If we can help 50 more people, fantastic. Well, we had 50 more people in less than 48 hours.
Sure. Awesome.
So yeah, I was really surprised. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, because, I knew we were putting something really good out there on the market. So maybe it was the confidence still of kind of setting those targets a bit higher. But yeah, so basically by the end of the Saturday, we had 96 new people trialing the new system. So not including the people that were already using Equicantis. They were brand new people. So that's been amazing. It's just amazing knowing that it's kind of validation. It's validation knowing that there's a problem out there that needs to be solved. People, therapists do want that problem solving, and they want to explore and see what's out there to help them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's definitely social proof that you're doing the right thing,
Yeah.
And yeah, what's the feedback been like?
Oh, we've had such good feedback. A huge part of this has been, it's about the therapist being able to run their business more efficiently and save time. I include myself in this. As a therapist, you're out there, your skill set is treating animals. That's what you do. You shouldn't have to be spending endless hours, evenings, and, ring fencing entire Fridays to catch up on paperwork and admin. Like, there has to be a better way of doing that. And that's exactly what we've been aiming to do. So we've had great comments and feedback over how much time it's saving already, and just reducing that mental load, just the never-ending list of things to remember, and clients that you had to remember to follow up with this for and this for. Like, we've just automated so many things. So the dashboard gives you all your reminders on there. That the feedback in terms of the streamlining, the time saving, how easy to use it is. And that's been a biggie for me, because I'm actually not particularly techie myself. I mean, I've learned an awful lot, and I steer all the development of Equicantis. I just don't do the actual coding and development. So it was imperative for me that it was easy to use. You don't want to have to, take an entire day out of your life to learn how to use it. You need to be able to get up and running with it as quickly as possible. So I think the two huge bits of feedback have been saving people time already, and how easy it is.
And tell me now, did you increase the price? Because obviously you
Yes.
added all these other benefits. Okay. And then
Yes.
everyone that was already in is grandfathered in at the lower price. Or how did it work?
Yes, yeah, exactly that. So we had kind of 2 tiers to begin with the exercise prescription. So we did have a light version and a pro version. So historically, pro was all our exercise prescription features, and light was kind of a restricted version of the exercise prescription. So what we've done now is our pro version is everything now. It is all our exercise prescription as it was before, plus all of our business and admin features. There's no restrictions on it. The light version now has become purely exercise prescription. So there's no restriction on the exercise prescription, but it's just that compartment of it now.
Nice. I like it.
Thanks.
That's awesome. And so when is Equicantis 3.0 launching?
Oh, we don't have set in stone dates for that yet, but we're working a lot on different versions this year. So there'll be updates coming out. So on what we've already got, just kind of little tweaks and improvements, which we've already done. So we had our first update last week, just with a few little tweaks and additions to the existing offering. And then there'll be kind of 2.1 will go out in a couple of months, and then 2.2. And then we'll see whether there's 2.3 or whether it's going to be like a bigger release, because, we do have other big features that are in the pipeline.
Yeah, well, it's super exciting. Well done to you and Jane. And just thank you for creating this awesome resource for vet rehabbers. It's much needed.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm just, it's great to be in a position where we can try and, help to solve these problems. It's it's a great feeling to be able to do that.
So if people want to have a look at Equicantis, where should they go?
www.equicantis.com. So that's our website. And then we are on Instagram and Facebook, just at Equicantis.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful chatting.
Oh, thanks for having me back.
Have an awesome day.
Thank you, and you. Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. I'm here every week talking to vet rehab therapists from all over the world about all things vet rehab. A big thanks to our sponsor, Curacor. Their sponsorship allows us to be able to give this podcast to you for free. So please go and check them out at curacor.org. Don't forget to bookmark the next Vet Rehab Summit. It's on Saturday, the 31st of August, 2024. Come and be a part of the world's largest online veterinary rehabilitation conference created specifically for you, the vet rehabber community. Onlinepethealth members get VIP complimentary access to the Vet Rehab Summit. For more information about continuing education for vet rehabbers, you can go to onlinepethealth.com.